Shalom, Israel. All praises to the Most High God and to all those that are seeking knowledge, truth, and understanding. Peace be unto you. I want to come to you with a short breakdown, not very long here, based on a comment that was made, this last video made, the vision of Nahum and the spirit of Babylon, or the two Babylons that's here actually mentioned in the Bible. I'm going to read you the comment, and then we're going to cast down all erroneous thoughts, we must cast down all vain imaginations in this time that we live in. I'm going to read it for a short space of time, and then we're going to break the scripture down, what he was commenting on, to give more clarity to it. Let me read this for you for just a second here. This is the comment. Well, you're partially correct. You might want to read John chapter 10, verse 27. What he says, he speaks to his children in the First Kings, where he says he speaks in a still small voice. It is calming and it doesn't violate his scripture. The other thing is he does have Gentile prophets. You can lie and say he doesn't. You're going to have to explain why he did allow Simon the Canaanite into his group, who is not an Israelite. It is sad, but a large portion of Israel is still in unbelief and follow people rather than the word. That's a strong statement in saying you can lie. That's a strong statement there. So that's the reason why I said I have to address that, because I don't have time for foolishness here. In this hour that's on the earth, we must cast down all vain imagination, all erroneous teachings, all this frivolous talk, and plucking out scripture and not having the full understanding. Not only have I read John 10, verse 27 in the entire chapter multiple times, my friend. And just stay tuned. I'm going to break that entire chapter down. And we're going to deal with some of the other elements that he spoke here. He or she, I'm not sure if it's a male or female. But I want to deal with John 10 and 27, where he said, I might want to read it. I just so happen to have read it multiple times. So let us deal with John 10 and not John 10, verse 27. We're going to deal with Simon the Canaanite and whether or not he was an Israelite. That's the portion I'm going to deal with this particular video. The remaining parts of that, I'm going to deal with that in the coming up video that's coming up. And you can subscribe and you can get it. But let's deal with Simon the Canaanite. Go to Matthew and let's see if Simon was a Gentile prophet, as the statements here, or was he an Israelite? Let's see. And let's see if there's a lie somewhere. According to Amos 2:10 down, in that he raised up your sons for prophets. Is it not even so, ye children of Israel? Let's see. Go to Matthew 10, just for a short space here. When he had called unto the 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, to heal in all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first was Simon, who's called Peter, Andrew, his brother James, the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, Lebbaeus, whose surname is Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. So the individual here said, Simon, out of the 12 apostles, was a Gentile prophet. That's what he's saying. When I was in college, let me lay this foundation for you. I majored in drafting engineering, but I finished up in the medical field in magnetic resonant imaging, radiation therapy, radiology, branching off in those programs there. You have to submit, and they have to accept you into those programs. While in college, when you're dealing with that type of curriculum, you write multiplicities of essays. Multiplicity. You read a lot of literature. If you've ever been to college, you read a lot of and you have to write a lot of essays. And I've read a lot of books, one in particular, Western Civilization, probably about 400 pages. In literature, it is something that is called, especially when writing essays, but in literature particularly. But let's deal with essays. You have to make sure when you're writing an essay, it's not something repetitive. It's not something you have to make sure your transitional words is in a proper place. Your grammatical errors, you have to make sure they submit it for plagiarism, making sure that you didn't plagiarize somebody else's material. You can get kicked out of college for that, or you can get an F in that course. When you're reading a literary work, it's a term called redundancy. Redundancy is when you're reading a certain topic about something, or they speak concerning a certain fact, they don't continuously repeat the fact throughout the entire literary work, because the fact is already established by default. They don't have to continue mentioning it page after page after page, because by default, the fact has already been established if you have read the material. See, that's the problem. Many of us don't understand about exhaustive studies and really doing an exhaustive precept study when it comes to making a foolish statement like that. You have to be very careful. You should study behind any and everybody, no matter who it is, on these YouTube channels, and making sure they have sound teaching. But watch this. So by default, you don't have to continuously mention a certain fact. It is called redundancy. You have to use other terminology. You state the topic in the first part of the paragraph. You have different elements of an essay. At the end, you reiterate the subject matter and conclude your essay. Watch this. Let me show you something. Go to Matthew before we deal with something, because we're going to deal with it. Matthew 15, verse number 24. Watch this. Christ speaking here, and the Most High God, Father, sent Christ. Watch what Christ says. But he answered and said, talking about a Canaanite, a woman that came from Canaan. I'm not going to go through all of these scriptures here. I'm just going to show you one point here. Behold, a woman that came out to the same coast. This is verse 22, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. Just jump down, because I want to get to the point here. Verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Christ, by default, by his own mouth, said, I'm only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Anything outside of that is a lie. Christ was only sent to his people. But the individual here said that he went and got a Gentile outside of Israel, which means Christ is lying here then. That means he was sent to the Gentiles. That's what you're saying. You're calling Christ a liar. Because Christ said to the woman, this is how he answered her. I am not sent, but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she saying, and worshiping, saying, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet. It is not right, in other words. Now watch this. To take the children's bread, cast it to dogs. He distinguished his children from the other nations, which he called dogs. So everybody is not a child of God, my friend. But we're going to deal with that deeper as we break down the book of John, chapter 10, which you say, I need to read. So I'm going to break it down for you. So Christ said, it's not right to give the children bread. Who are his children? Jump back up to verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That is the only children of God. It's the children of Israel. Those are the children of God. The other nations outside of Israel, he called them dogs or goats. That's what he said. Now watch this. He said, go back to Matthew. Simon, the Canaanite, he's looking at the term Canaanite and saying, he must have been literally from the seed of Ham, because the Canaanites came from Ham. Go back to Genesis chapter 10. But the term ITE, that's where you can confuse that. It means the descendant of, but also a native of a country. That's what Ite mean also. Watch this. Go to Nahum. Watch this. Let me show you. Go to Nahum. Watch this. Watch this. Go to Nahum chapter 1. Watch this. The burden of Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. Does that mean Nahum was from Elshar? That's what he's talking about. Or Elkosh. Is that what it's saying? He was a descendant of Elkosh. No. That means the term Elkoshite means of the town of Elkosh, which term means God my bow, or his birthplace. It does not mean he was that native. It doesn't mean he came from the lineage of Elkosh. Just like Simon the Canaanite does not mean he was from the seed of Canaan. It means he was a native of that land. Watch this. Let's get some more. Watch this. Go to Acts. Go to Acts. Watch this. Acts 22. Because we must cast down all false information, all imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of God and that's coming against the truth. Because the only prophets of God are the children of Israel. That's written in the Bible. Now watch this. Go to Acts. Watch this. Acts 22. Start up at let's start at verse number 24. The chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle and begged that he should examine by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him. Talking about Paul. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? Is Paul a Roman, a Caucasian Roman? Paul himself said, is it not lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. So if you stay here, you're going to say Paul is a Roman. But is his nation from the Caucasian Romans or Edom? Let's see. Watch this. Go to Romans 11. I say then, hath God cast away his people? Paul speaking. God forbid. For I am also an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So Paul was a native or citizen of Rome. He was not from the descendants of the Romans, was from Esau. Paul wasn't from the descendant of Rome. He was a native of Rome, a citizen, just like Simon was a native of the land of Canaan. Canaanite, he came from that land, his birthplace. That's what that means. Watch this. Watch this. You said, well, is that talking about Paul? Go to Romans 1. And let's see who wrote the letter. Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God. So who wrote the letter to the Romans, which are Israelites, that Romans under Gentile names? Not going to get into that, though. You can go search some of my lessons. So Paul was a Roman citizen, just like some of us are American citizens, but we are from the nation of Israel, or an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Watch this. Watch this. Let's get some more. This is just a small, because I'm going to come with some major understanding of that, especially in John 10. Children. Who's God's child? Or who's his sheep? We're going to deal with all of that. Watch this. Go to Luke. Watch this. Luke 22. Watch this. And let's start at verse 24. Let's deal with that first. Let's start at verse 14. Let's start there. Luke 22, verse 14. And when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him. Simon was with him, which was an Israelite. And he said unto them, with desire, I have desired to eat the Passover with you before supper. Who was the Passover given to? Was it given to all nations? Who was that Passover given to? Let's deal with that, because we're going to come back to that. I want to show you something else. Go to Exodus chapter 12. Watch this. Let me show you something on that. Exodus. Watch this. Chapter 12. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. 12 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you a beginning of months, and it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak unto the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take every man a lamb according to his house of their fathers, a lamb for his house. Talking about the Passover to all the congregation of Israel. Jump down, watch this, to verse, watch this, and verse 43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. So the Most High gave a commandment that no stranger shall eat of the Passover. Christ said to his 12 apostles, look, I'm about to sit down and eat Passover with you. The Most High God told Aaron and Moses, this is an ordinance, and there shall no stranger eat thereof. Let's read on. But every man's servant that is bought for money, or thou hast circumcised in him, then shall he eat thereof. The foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth. Out of the flesh abroad out of the house. Neither shall you break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. Which lets you know Christ is not breaking that commandment by allowing Simon of another nation to eat the Passover. And Israel being scattered at that time, and he being sent only to the house of Israel, gathering the tribes back. But you say he's gathering or Canaanite out of all the things in the world. You mean to tell me he couldn't find one more Israelite to be one of the apostles? That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. That some of us are here teaching. And you're going to have to lie if it's true. Well, I'm giving you precepts. Now watch this. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all the males of the circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And it shall be as one that is born in the land, be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Jump up to 45. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat. This strangers he's talking about is not talking about other nations, because Israel was sojourning in other nations. And if they came back, you treat them as a brother, but they had to be circumcised to eat the Passover. Watch this. Watch this. One law shall be unto him that is homeborn, and unto a stranger that sojourneth among you. Thus did the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass, selfsame day, that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. He was establishing them as a nation, giving them the orders, because the mixed multitude came out with them. But the Passover is only for the children of Israel. Now watch this. I can go so further with that. I'm trying to make it short. Go back to Luke. Watch this. Let me show you some more. Go to Luke 22. Watch this. And jump down to 24. Watch this. And there was also a strife among them. Which of them should be accounted the greatest among the apostles? The king of the Gentiles exercised lordship over thee. And he said unto them, and they exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. But ye shall not be so. But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that does serve. For whether is greater he that sitteth at meat, and he that serveth? It's not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptation. And I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father has appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table, here we come, in my kingdom, and sit on the throne, judging the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. He told the 12 apostles that they were going to sit on the thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. You telling us that Simon of Canaan, one of those wicked nations that the laws was never given to, as in Psalms 147, never given to. is going to judge the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. That's what you're saying. Those are blasphemous words, and you need to repent for that. That's what you need to do. And sit down and get taught this Bible. And watch this. Judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Watch this. Go to John 10. Let me show you something. That's blasphemous word. Watch this. John 10, watch this. And 34, watch this. Jump up to let's start at verse 34. Jesus answered them, talking about the Pharisees. And because he said, I and my Father are one. So they said, Jesus answered them. They said, this man, the Jews took up stones again to stone him. And Jesus answered them, many good works have I showed you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me? The Jews answered him, saying, for a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because thou being a man makest thyself a God. Because he said, me and my Father are one. We sit in agreement. And as my Father do, I do for him that sent me. I don't do my own will. That's what Christ is saying. He said, Jesus answered, is it not written in your law? I said, ye are gods. The term gods, watch this, means magistrates talking to the children of Israel, or ruler, or judges, like he told the 12 apostles, sit on the thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Gods, or rulers, or magistrates. That's what it means in the Hebrew. Watch this. Watch this, a short little lesson here, because we must tear down that lie. Go to Psalms 82. Watch this. And verse 1. God standing in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. Oh, you talking about his multiplicity of the gods? No. He judges the rulers of Israel. He judges among the judges. For the judge of the earth shall do right. He is the ultimate judge. He judges the children of Israel. Because he's King of kings. Because the children of Israel in Exodus 19 are kings and priests. And he's kings of kings. And God over the gods, or the judge over the judges. Watch this, he gonna say it. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the person of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and the fatherless, do justice. To afflicted and needy, deliver the poor. Needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk out in darkness. All in foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Who are the children of the Most High God? The children of Israel. That's what Christ was telling those wicked Pharisees. Is it written in your law that ye are God's judges on the earth, rulers of the earth? That's what he was rebuking them about. And he said, you are the judges. Simon the Canaanite, he's not a judge of Israel. The children of Israel are the judges written in the Bible. He was an Israelite. Watch this. Watch this. Look at some more. Go to 1 Corinthians. Go to 1 Corinthians 6. Watch this. At verse 1. Dare any of you having a matter against another go to the law before the unjust, or not before the saints? Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? You're saying the apostle Simon was of a Canaanite lineage of Ham. So you're saying the Most High God is calling him a saint. Well, let's see. Go to Psalms 140 as to who the saints are. Go to Psalms 148:14. He exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord. The only judges and the only saints are the children of Israel. That's it. Simon was an Israelite. The 12 apostles sitting on the thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. You really think a chain from the seed of Ham is going to sit on the throne given by Christ as an apostle to judge his people? That's blasphemous thinking. You need to repent from that. Foolish thoughts. Watch this. Get some more. Go to Daniel. Go to Daniel. Let's see who's lying. And we coming back to John 10. I'm going to break that down for you so you have some understanding. Watch this. Go to Daniel 7. Watch this. Get some more. Daniel 7. Watch this. Verse 22. Watch this. Let's jump up to verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came, and the judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. We just read to you who the saints were. Who is the kingdom of heaven for? Whose name is on the gates to the kingdom of heaven? Watch this. We're going to show you. Then we're going to end this lesson. Go to Acts. Watch this. Let me show you something. Then we're going to close this out. Go to Acts. Verse 6. When they therefore come together, they asked of him, saying, asking Christ, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? But you trying to insert some individual of another nation in that. I don't know what's wrong with our mind. Our minds has been so destroyed and poisoned through so many different religions. It's when the Most High God awaken us out of that, we still hold to residual fragments of that false dialogue in our spirit that has to be extracted out. You're not totally converted. You must come in, you must wipe the slate clean and come in an unbiased way. And the Most High God will open your understanding to the scriptures. Don't think that I'm some type of novice, my friend. I could tell you something. I came up to various type of religion. I know their thought process. Private school in Catholicism. Came through Baptists. Settled in Church of God of Christ. Through various families, probably 100 years in that. To various families, and fell off into the apostolic. I know the thought process, my friend. And you're holding on to residual and fragments of Christianity that must be broken off of your spirit. Because your mind has been poisoned and raped and vomited out and spewed everywhere. And now you're trying to build it. We're trying to build your minds back together. The true prophets of God. You should ask it in the form of a question. Now watch this. He said, Lord, will thou at this time restore the saints to the kingdom of Israel? He just said, who are the saints? The children of Israel. Who is the kingdom for? Let's go to Revelation chapter 21. And we're going to end this lesson. There's so much arrogance and pride. Watch this. Verse 20, chapter 21, Revelation 21, verse 12. And it had a wall great and high, and it had 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. If your name is on a gate to your house, it signifies who this gate, who this entry is for, and who this belongs to. That's what it signifies. He just asked Christ, when are you going to restore this kingdom, which would be on the earth, to Israel? Who the gates names, the names of the gates, are the names written thereon, are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And the 12 apostles were judging the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what Christ said. Sit on the thrones. The mindset of our people and the arrogance and blasphemous to say that Simon, the Canaanite, you thought he was a Canaanite from Ham. No, ITE means the native of another country. Not that he was the descendant of that man. Nahum, the Elkoshite. Does that mean Nahum was from Elkosh? He was a descendant of Elkosh? No. He was a prophet during the Assyrian captivity, bleeding over to the Babylonian, conquering of Assyria. Let's go and let me show you. Because Nahum prophesied. So let's see who the prophets are. Go to 1 Kings, 2 Kings. Watch this, and we're going to end this lesson. Go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings, watch this. Start at verse. And this is the reason why Nahum was prophesying. 2 Kings 17, verse 7. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord, their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared of the gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. And they built them high places in all the cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. That's why Nahum, the Elkoshite, who is what? A native of Elkosh, which means the town of Elkosh, or God my bow. It's his birthplace. Watch this. And they set up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, and did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. They served idols. Wherefore the Lord has said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Watch this. Yet the Lord testified against them, against Israel, and against Judah by all the prophets. and by all his seers, saying, turn ye from all the evil ways, and keep my commandments, and my law, and my all according to all the law, which I command of your fathers, which I sent to you by my servants, the prophets. Well, who are his servants, the prophets? Jump down, watch this. Verse 23. Until the Lord remove Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria. Nahum prophesied during the Syrian, but they said Nahum, the Elkoshite. Was he an Elkoshite? Or he sent him by his servants, the prophets? Well, let's see who the servants, the prophets is. Go to Amos. Go to Amos, and let's see. Amos 2 and verse number 10. As I brought you up from the land of Egypt and led you 40 years through the wilderness to possess the land of the Amorite, and I raised up your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, said the Most High God? Simon was an Israelite living in the land of Canaan. He was a native of there. That's what the Bible is saying. And with that, I say shalom and peace be unto you.